Welcome. This is our Flutter course. Let's get started. So, we're going to do cross-platform mobile app development. We're writing code in Dart. It's based off C++. So anyone with any C-like language experience, this should be okay for you. If you've only ever done Python or HTML, I'm sorry, but yeah, try and keep up. All right, try and keep up. So we're going to use Android Studio because if you love Visual Studio Code a lot, please go ahead and use it. But you won't get all the nice features, right? Because Android Studio made by Google, Dart and Flutter made by Google, Visual Studio Code made by Microsoft. All right, so I'm going to assume that you know fundamental coding concepts, but if you don't, it's okay. Try and keep up. All right, let's go. All right, so that's this is where the slides are. This is what we're gonna do. All right, we're gonna set up Android Studio, install stuff. I've actually done all this on my computer already, so I'm just going to pretend, all right, to do it. And we're going to make a simple Hello World app and make a random word generator app. Let's go. All right, so I'm going to skip past some of these slides. Right, there's some stuff about Padlet, all right. And I guess one of the key things that I need you to do during this course is for you to take screenshots. Okay, you're going to need to take screenshots of your final products. You're going to need to take screenshots of your code to ask for help. You're going to need to take videos of your final product. I'm not interested in seeing you submit your final products, right? So just screenshots and video. So on Mac, it's very simple. Press Command-Shift-5. All right, it'll bring up this little toolbar right here. And let me drag it over from my other screen. All right, it doesn't go over. It doesn't go over. Okay, never mind. All right, but you can see this thing. All right, there's a little toolbar. Right, trust me. Right, toolbar, bottom of the screen. Pretend it's right there. Am I pointing in the right direction? In Windows, you can use Windows G to bring up the game bar, which lets you take video and screenshots. That's how all the streamers do stuff, I guess. I have no idea. All right, there's also Alt Print Screen if your keyboard has that button. My keyboard does not have print screen, so I couldn't do that if I wanted to. There's also the snipping tool, which I understand is very similar to that bar I was talking about. Okay, so if you take screenshots, you can post them to Padlet, you can post them to Discord, you can post them, you can post them on your profile picture. I don't know why you want to. All right. Okay, so introduction to Flutter, right? Just some simple, quick intro slides. Okay, so Flutter built and released by Google in May 2017. It's cross-platform, so you actually get to use one code base and write for more than one platform at the same time. Okay, and this is very, very useful. Okay, this is very, very useful, especially when you're first starting out and you are first starting out as a company, right? Or even first starting out as an app developer. And you want to target both iOS and Android, and you don't want to learn the intricacies of each, because take it from me, right? I've done quite a bit of iOS. I've tried some Android in the past. There's a lot to get into, right? Once you get started, right? So Flutter is one of many cross-platform tools. Okay, you use one code base, you compile it one time, it can work on both iOS and Android. Okay. It uses material design. It works well with Firebase because Firebase is a backend service. Okay, it's just really nice, and I'd like to show you more of it very soon. Okay, so these are companies that use Flutter. We took a screenshot. Why not Flutter, right? And I'd like to think about this, and you can post this in your discussion channel, right? Or you can think about this in your Padlet, all right? Why not use React Native and Ionic? These are other cross-platform tools, right? Or why not just dive into Swift and Kotlin, right? And use Xcode and Android Studio with Kotlin for native Android development, right? Why? Think about it. Okay, we'll talk about it next time. Okay, so all this stuff, skip. Right. So first things first, must install Flutter, right? Install Flutter. So in order to install Flutter, right? First of all, we need to switch over to a browser. Let's use a browser like let's use Microsoft Edge, right? Go to developer.android.com, all right, and go grab Android Studio. Okay, just reach out to the screen and download it. Okay, so I'm sure there's a download button, Android Studio, right up here. Right, I can search for Android Studio, download it. It will take a while. Okay, it's 856 megabytes, and after you download and install it, it will install more stuff. Okay, so quick warning, Android Studio is designed to destroy your CPU and your RAM and everything. So if you're using a not so beefy computer, just quit everything else and be very patient. Okay, you can watch this video on your phone while you do it or something, I don't know. Okay, so download Android Studio, go grab that, install it. Continue with my slides, and there's a documentation, of course, right? Flutter.dev, right? And these are some of the sites that are useful for you, right? Flutter.dev, right? Install, right? Just gonna Google for it, or DuckDuckGo for it, okay? And you can just follow the instructions here. You don't really need me to go through it for you. So if you're using Windows, click on Windows. Using Mac, if you're using Linux, Y. Please feel free. If you're in China, you're not in China, right? You are probably not in China. Okay, so I'm gonna click on Mac OS, and it's got some kind of information, right? And some of this stuff about command line tools. Let me know if you need help, right? Let me know if you fail to install it somehow. Okay, I think it should be doable. All this stuff should be default with the Mac, as long as you kept it updated. So you download this, all right? And some of this is going to ask you to go to the command line, right? You might not need to, right? So read carefully, right? Read carefully and follow our instructions. Okay, follow our instructions. So Android Studio, download, all right? Run through the setup wizard. It'll download this thing called the Android SDK, which is the software development kit. It's gonna download a whole bunch of stuff, right? More than 900 megabytes. It's gonna take up a lot of space, right? Let it download. Wait, right? Go and take a nap for about 2 days. Next, you need to install Flutter. Okay, so this one I can show you. I have Android Studio, right? So I have Android Studio. I'm gonna open Android Studio, and where's my Android Studio? Oh, it's over here. It's on my other screen. Yeah, it will come over in a moment. Okay, so there it is. Right, so I have a few projects. Smart toilet. Right, maybe we should get rid of all these. All right, so this is what you see when you first get started. You will not see start a new Flutter project. Okay, you will not see start a new Flutter project. So you need to actually install that. Alright, so you need to go to File Settings in Windows, or you need to go to Android Studio Preferences on Mac, so Android Studio Preferences. Okay, and this will open up the Preferences screen, and you can install some plugins, right? So for me, I've already installed Dart and Flutter. You can just select Flutter, install Dart as well. It's a dependency. Okay, so install Flutter and Dart, alright, and then create your first Flutter project. Okay. And they'll give you some options. I'll tell you what to choose. I'm going to choose Flutter and give it a name, and you can still download. There's some other stuff you need to download, like if you don't have an SDK, it'll complain and things like that. Okay, so you might need to do all this, right? Just follow the slides and you should be okay. All right, so I'm going to show you real quick starting a Flutter project. So start a new Flutter project and create Flutter application. Press next. Okay, give it a slightly more inspiring name than Flutter app. I'm going to call this Hello World. Very inspiring name. Okay. Flutter SDK path. Alright, so this one, if you don't have it, click on Install SDK and you'll install somewhere random on your computer. Okay, so it's not going to install into a nice system directory. So what I do is I have a folder called dev that I just installed it into, and that's where I put all my development stuff. Okay, so where do you want to put the project? I don't want to put it in Android Studio projects. I'm going to put it in dev. Okay. And the description is a new Flutter, that's not very specific, a new Flutter Hello World application, Hello World. Okay, and invalid project name must be less than 30 characters. All right, where's my project name? Hello World. All right, so I guess Hello World is what we're doing. Okay, so press next. Okay, set the package name, right? This thing is, some of you have seen this before, if you've ever done Xcode. This is just to make sure, there might be a lot of people out there making Hello World apps, right? So what you want to do is you want to take your domain name, if you have a domain, right, and reverse it so that no one can use it, right? The real reason why you reverse it because it goes from least specific to most specific, right? So for example, my company is com.tech Academy, and if you don't have a domain name, use your school's domain name in reverse, right? Followed by maybe your name, right? In case more than one person in your school is doing the same thing, which there's a whole bunch of you. All right, so the rest, just leave it checked. It's okay. Press finish. Okay, so what this does is it will create a whole bunch of stuff in a directory. Okay, and take up a whole bunch of space. Right, so watch out if you might need to delete some games. I don't know what. All right, actually press finish. Yes, I press finish, and it'll take a lot of time. Okay, it'll take a lot of time. You will come to doubt yourself about how long you have to wait for Android Studio to run. Okay, you will doubt your existence. You will doubt other people's existence. You will doubt many things, but eventually stuff will run. All right, I'm going to leave this on the screen and stare at it for a while. Okay, so Gradle is a build system, right? That it's responsible for taking all these disparate files, right, and like stuffing them all into a box and saying okay, and then grinding it into a little app that you can run. Okay, So this still might take a while, all right? But you can see in the background there's something going on, right? There's some code that they've created for you. There's a little navigator on the left, okay, and down here there's there are some like Windows pop-ups, and you can see lah, right? You can see this is Android Studio, and Android Studio is a very complex piece of software with a lot of stuff in it. Okay, so you're gonna have to try and like look through this and not get too intimidated. All right, so I think it's done, right? I think my stuff is done, right? You can take a look at the bottom right hand corner to see if anything is spinning or churning. All right, I think it's done. We have finally finished installing Android Studio. That's the end of our first video. It's very sad.